What if I told you that the universe operates as a vast mechanical system where even your sense of self is merely a cog in an incomprehensibly large cosmic machine? Does consciousness exist at all, or are we witnessing the elaborate dream of matter organizing itself? In this episode, Gurdjieff unfolds the mysteries of this universe. From matter to consciousness, you're about to explore the laws that govern everything. So remember to listen with complete presence. And if these are the kinds of explorations that call to your soul, consider subscribing to this channel. I speak to you today about something your civilization has entirely forgotten, though it was known to ancient schools in Egypt, Babylon, Tibet, and elsewhere throughout the world. The universe operates according to definite, knowable laws, and these laws apply equally to the movement of galaxies, the growth of plants, the development of your consciousness, and every process occurring between the infinitely large and the infinitely small. Your modern science has discovered many things, yes, yet it remains fundamentally ignorant of the structure underlying all manifestation. You know facts about separate phenomena while missing the connections between them, the universal principles that govern everything from the formation of solar systems to why you cannot maintain a single decision for more than a few hours. What I will share with you today is a map of reality itself, the architecture of existence, and your place within it. Imagine a single point of absolute unity, what I call the absolute, or in some ancient traditions, the sun absolute. This is not the physical sun you see in the sky, which is merely one manifestation within creation. The absolute represents undivided consciousness, the source from which all existence emerges like a river flowing from a mountain spring. From this absolute, creation descends in definite stages, each level becoming progressively denser, more mechanical, more subject to increasing numbers of laws. This descent I call the ray of creation, and understanding it reveals why your life feels so heavy, so constrained, so difficult compared to what you sense should be possible. The absolute operates under a single law, its own will, which is unity itself. From this point of perfect freedom, creation branches outward into what I term all worlds, the first division of the unified into multiplicity. Already at this second level, three laws appear where before there was only one. Can you begin to sense the pattern? With each step away from the source, the number of laws governing that level doubles. 1 becomes 3, 3 becomes 6, 6 becomes 12, and so on. Your science speaks of galaxies, which it calls all suns, governed by 6 laws. From these galaxies emerge individual suns, like the one around which your planet orbits, operating under 12 laws. Your solar system as a whole, all the planets together, exists under 24 laws. Then comes Earth specifically, this small planet where you find yourself imprisoned, subject to 48 laws. Finally, the Moon, which my teaching describes as operating under 96 laws, representing the densest, most mechanical level of cosmic manifestation. Do you understand what this means for your existence? You live under 48 fundamental laws, 48 restrictions on freedom, 48 mechanical forces compelling you in directions you neither choose nor comprehend. When you complain that life feels difficult, that genuine choice seems impossible, that you cannot do what you intend, this is the mathematical reality of your situation. The more laws governing a level of creation, the less freedom exists there. Every process, Every phenomenon, every moment of creation requires three forces to manifest. This is the first fundamental cosmic law, which I call the law of three. Nothing can occur through a single force or even two forces. Three must be present simultaneously for anything to happen. Your science recognizes forces it labels positive and negative, action and reaction, yet consistently misses the third force operating in every situation. This third force reconciles the opposition between the first two, allowing something new to emerge from their interaction. Without this reconciling force, the active and passive forces simply oppose each other endlessly, producing no result. Watch this law operating in your daily life. You have a wish to change something. This is the active force. You encounter resistance, either external obstacles or internal inertia. This is the passive force. These two forces create a deadlock, a stalemate where nothing moves. Then some additional factor enters, perhaps a crisis that makes change urgent, perhaps a teacher who shows you a method, perhaps an insight that shifts your understanding. This third force resolves the conflict and allows transformation to begin. The law of three manifests differently at each level of the ray of creation. In the absolute, the three forces exist in perfect unity. As creation descends, these three forces multiply and interact in increasingly complex combinations. At your level, they appear in forms so numerous and disguised that you rarely recognize them operating. This is why understanding requires the study of simpler manifestations before you can perceive the law functioning in complicated situations. The formula I have given for practical application states, the higher blends with the lower to actualize the middle, which becomes lower for the next higher or higher for the previous lower. This describes how the three forces operate at different scales simultaneously, creating a chain of cause and effect, linking the absolute to the densest matter. Now we arrive at the second fundamental cosmic law, which explains something your experience constantly demonstrates, yet your understanding never grasps. Why nothing proceeds in a straight line. Why all efforts encounter obstacles at specific intervals. Why processes begin with enthusiasm and energy, yet fade or deviate from their original direction. I call this the law of seven, or the law of octaves, because its operation corresponds exactly to the musical scale you know as do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. The ancient schools discovered that every process developing in time follows this pattern of seven unequal stages, and they encoded this knowledge in the structure of the musical scale, where it has been preserved for thousands of years. Listen carefully to what I am telling you. When you begin any activity, starting a business, learning a skill, pursuing a relationship, working on your inner development, the initial movement occurs smoothly. Energy flows freely from do to re to mi. You feel momentum, enthusiasm, progress. Then something changes. Between mi and fa exists what I call an interval, a gap where the natural flow of energy cannot continue under its own momentum. Here, the process requires a shock from outside itself to continue in its original direction. If this shock does not arrive at the proper moment, the process deviates. It may continue moving, yes, perhaps with even greater intensity, yet now in a different direction than originally intended. This explains why most of your undertakings fail or transform into something unrecognizable from what you began. You start intending one result and achieve something entirely different because you did not understand intervals and did not provide the necessary shock at the critical moment. These shortened intervals represent points where the universe requires additional energy, where consciousness must intervene, and where mechanical processes alone are insufficient. A piano keyboard demonstrates this law visibly. Notice how there is no black key between E and F, or between B and C. The missing semitones correspond to the intervals where shocks must be consciously applied. Now, I must tell you something that will sound strange, perhaps disturbing. The entire organic life on Earth, plants, animals, humans, serves a cosmic purpose most people never suspect. We exist as a kind of transmitting station, transforming energies required by the ray of creation to continue its development. The moon, sitting at the bottom of the creation, branching to Earth, requires specific energies to evolve. It receives these energies from organic life on Earth, which produces them through living, dying, experiencing emotions, and particularly through suffering. This is why I say that nature extracts from humanity the energy she requires through whatever means necessary: wars, famines, natural disasters, any circumstances that generate intense emotional experiences in large numbers of people simultaneously. You ask, must we simply accept this role as unconscious food for cosmic processes beyond our understanding? Here is where the teaching becomes practical. When humans generate these energies consciously, through intentional work on themselves rather than mechanical suffering, they can use these same energies for their own development. The shock at the Mipha interval in the ray of creation can be supplied consciously instead of being extracted mechanically. This is the secret purpose of genuine spiritual work: to transform yourself from an unconscious participant in cosmic metabolism into a conscious co-creator who understands the role organic life plays and performs this role deliberately rather than being compelled mechanically. When you work on yourself consciously, you serve the universe's needs while simultaneously developing your own being. The symbol I brought from ancient sources and have made available to students of my teaching, the Enneagram, contains within its structure a complete map of how the laws of 3 and 7 interact. This is not merely a diagram to memorize, but a living symbol that, when properly understood, reveals the inner workings of any process you examine. The circle represents the unity of any whole phenomenon. The triangle inscribed within it represents the law of 3, the 3 forces that must be present for anything to occur. The irregular figure connecting points around the circle's circumference represents the law of 7, the sequence of development any process follows, including the locations of the 2 intervals where shocks must be consciously applied. Every complete process, whether cosmic or personal, can be mapped onto this symbol. Where you place the beginning point, which direction the process moves around the diagram, and where the intervals occur, all of this reveals the specific characteristics of whatever you are studying. This is why I said that whoever understands the Enneagram understands everything, because this symbol contains universal laws applicable to all phenomena. The Enneagram demonstrates visually something crucial for practical work. The 2 points where shocks must be applied are not arbitrary, but occur at mathematically determined locations in any cycle. If you wish to complete any octave successfully, meaning to achieve what you originally intended rather than deviating into something else, you must know precisely where these critical moments arrive and have prepared in advance the material for the necessary shocks. I return now to where we began. Your situation as a human being living on Earth under 48 laws. This understanding should produce in you a certain sobriety about your actual condition. You are not free, you are not conscious, you do not do. You are done to, compelled by forces operating through you that you neither recognize nor control. Yet, within this mathematical prison exists a possibility so remarkable that it justifies all the difficulty of the work I teach. Because you stand at a particular point in the ray of creation, because organic life on Earth serves as a crucial junction where certain energies are transformed, you have access to materials and possibilities that would not exist if you lived at a different level of the cosmic structure. The very density of laws operating at your level, the very mechanicalness of ordinary existence, creates conditions where consciousness can develop in ways impossible at higher levels, where everything already proceeds more freely. You have available the friction, the resistance, the suffering necessary to generate the shocks required for intentional development. Higher up the ray of creation, conditions are too easy to provide the necessary struggle against which real consciousness can form. This is why I say that Earth occupies a unique position in the universe. Not the physical center, which is meaningless, but a functional position where certain transformations can occur that happen nowhere else. The ancient teaching describes Earth as a place where gods can be born, where ordinary mechanical creatures can evolve into conscious beings capable of operating under fewer laws than those governing their original state. When you begin to understand yourself as one small process within the vast cosmic octave, when you recognize that universal laws operate in you exactly as they operate in galaxies and atoms, when you see that your personal struggles reflect the same intervals and requirements for shocks that govern all manifestation, then you can begin to work consciously with these laws rather than remaining their unconscious victim. The universe is not cruel, it's simply impersonal, a perfect machine operating under definite laws, and within this machine exists a door through which you can pass from mechanical existence into conscious being if you understand the laws governing both the prison and the key.